When was Three Brothers founded? How long ago are we talking about? And what did they, what did they start with, and what's different from where they started to where you are today?
So let's just go back about 200 years. And that's when the family began baking in Chanov, Poland. And it was, I envision it as a shtetl, as a village. I don't know if it was, they baked in a building that Napoleon once slept in. So it had to have been a pretty old building. And I think they lived maybe above the bakery or something. I'm not really sure. And they baked continuously until my father-in-law, who had been the fourth generation, he worked in the bakery. There was a baker strike when he was 10. And he and his twin brother did go to work in the bakery. And I think in some ways that might have saved their lives, because they baked continuously until the Nazis came and took the bakery and then the family. But the flour sacks were 100, I'm saying 100 pounds, but something similar in kilos. Well, you had to be a strong man to lift that. And so I think that's why the baking business was so populated by men for so long. So anyway, the Nazis come, they take the family. There are things that went on before the family gets taken, and we could do a whole session just on this story. But their older sister saved the three brothers. And I'm giving a talk to a professional women's group tomorrow, and they have a table talk and I got to pick the topic. And I said, the topic is, are you an upstander or a bystander? How brave are you? And I came up with this before October 7th, before the Israel Hamas war broke out. And she was so brave. Her name was Aunt Jenny, and they moved everyone into rooms, and not necessarily with your family. So she's living in a room with maybe 10 other people, and the SS or Nazis or the police of the area come banging on the door. And she says, we have to open the door. Nobody wants to open the door. And she says, we have to, because so-and-so didn't open it yesterday and she was killed. So she went and opened the door, and they took her. She ends up in jail, for a few days, and then they let her out. But fast forward to when they're in the camps, she married the head Jew in the camp. So every camp had, I'm showing my age, but there was a show called Hogan's Heroes.
Sure.
And there was a lead military person interfacing with the Germans in Hogan's Heroes. Well, they had a lead Jew that interfaced with the Germans in all the camps. She married the head Jew in that camp. That gave her a plum job of working in the office, and the Nazis kept meticulous records. And how she did this, I have no idea. She found her three brothers at different camps and had them transported to the camp she was in. Wow. And so two of them were on death's door. And so she and my father-in-law, I wouldn't say nursed them back to health. I would say nursed them back to survival. And if she hadn't done that, for sure, probably two of them would have died. This woman was so brave. And she is one of my idols.
That's amazing.
And so they make their way. She comes to Houston first, and then the three brothers follow. And, they didn't speak English. They knew how to bake. So what do? They open a bakery, Three Brothers Bakery. They're like really top in the marketing department. And, but it's actually a good name because there were three brothers and it's a bakery. And so when you know what it is, right?
Right.
I hate people that make a business. You're a business coach, make a business and they call it, I don't know. I'm trying to look around for, it's Dogsmith, and what they're doing is ironwork or something. You know what I mean? It's just, you don't
100%.
know what it is. So anyway, they come here in 1949. They start Three Brothers Bakery. Will be 75 May 8th. And May 8th is a memorable date because that was the date of liberation. And my father-in-law, he was a in charge of waking up everyone in the camp he was at. By that point, they had been split. They got split up the last year. So he's in this camp of 1,000 people, and he's in charge of waking everyone up. And this is without an alarm clock. And to the day he died, he really had a hard time sleeping because of that. And he woke up one morning, he overslept, and they lined everybody up for roll call. And it was a cold, wet day. And they said, you're going to roll around up and down the line until I tell you to stop. And if you stop before I tell you to stop, we're going to shoot someone. So he did it for an hour. But anyway, so one morning he wakes up and he sees the Germans are gone. The fence is not electrified. So he went and found some wire cutters and he cut the gate open, and he kissed the ground, and he was the first one in his camp to take that first breath of freedom. And that was on May 8th. And so that's an important date for us. And then, so now my husband, he's in the bakery, he's 5th generation. And then we don't have a 6th generation. He has, I have 2 bonus sons. So one is a veterinarian and one is a school teacher, him and his wife. And so for us, the best thing we can do for them would be to build the business, sell it, hopefully not spend all the money, and leave something to them, right? At least not be a burden to them. So that's kind of what our plan is.